Good afternoon, bringing the zoning administrator hearing of December 17th, 2025 to order. It is 1:33 p.m. And do we have a determination of legal notice?
All items on the agenda have been properly noticed.
Okay, great. We have numerous cases on our regular calendar today. Our first item, 3A, is case AP 2025-0026. And our staff planner is Marco Rodriguez. May I have your presentation?
Hello, thank you, Zoning Administrator. Project Planner Marco Rodriguez here. As detailed in the staff report, the project request is for an administrative permit to authorize an eligible facilities request for modifications to an existing 150-foot tall wireless communication facility that includes the installation of 12 antennas and the necessary ground equipment consisting of 2 equipment cabinets and a 30 kilowatt diesel generator at an existing wireless facility and within a fenced leased area. The subject parcel is located approximately 11.8 miles northwest of Willits City Center, lying on the east side of Sherwood Road, approximately 2.7 miles south of its intersection with US 101, located at 35601 Sherwood Road, Willits, assessor parcel number 036-11001. All modifications would occur within the existing leased area. The project remains consistent with the intent and standards of the Rangeland Zoning Classification and Towers and Antennas Chapter. The proposed project is also supported by General Plan Policy DE 206, which directs the county to encourage appropriate utility infrastructure necessary to support social and economic needs, including wired, wireless, and satellite communications. The project was referred to applicable agencies on November 19, 2025. As of today, there are no noteworthy responses except for CAL FIRE. The primary concern expressed by CAL FIRE pertains to tree removal. CAL FIRE stated if trees are removed as a result of this project from an area defined as timberland, a CAL FIRE permit must be obtained by a licensed timber operator. This has been incorporated into condition of approval number 14 in the resolution, now renumbered as condition of approval number 13. However, tree removal is not proposed at this time. Staff did write up a memo. Did you have a chance?
I have it in front of me, thank you.
Okay, so well, with that being said, the project is categorically exempt from further review under CEQA per California Code of Regulations Section 15301, Class 1, Existing Facilities. Staff is recommending approval of Administrative Permit AP 2025-0026 in accordance with the findings and subject to the conditions of approval contained in the resolution and memo. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. And we have a representative of the application here, and just state your name for the record and any comments you may have.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew Moore. I'm an authorized agent of Verizon Wireless and the applicant representative for all of our projects here today. I don't have anything to add at this time, but if you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, great. So next I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing and see if we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item, and we'll start in room and then I'll go online. If folks online want to speak, please use the raise hand feature so we know to add you to the meeting. And please go ahead and just state your name for the record.
My name is Kevin Blundell. I live at 35001 Sherwood Road. The roadway that goes through to the tower goes across my property. When my wife and I bought it in 1999, there was one company hooked to that tower. Now, there's at least 3, if not 4. They've been tearing up the roads. They go through, they cut the chain, the lock chain, so they get to the tower. That is not a right-of-way, and I have the ability to stop that, or at least pay for gravel, road maintenance, and care. And if you're going to do this project, I really recommend that you put a porta potty up there, because I'm tired of your contractors going down the road and just peeing off into my fence. And every time I have to replace the chain, I want to know who's going to pay for it. And you're the representative.
I mean, I'll look into the road development that we're doing. I know everything will be built out to fire codes. I can't speak to cutting of chains, anything damaged during the course of construction or attaching this equipment to the tower. We'll be repairing.
But it's your
it while
company?
Verizon.
It's your company, right? You're representing that, your company.
I'm an agent of Verizon Wireless. I work
Okay,
directly
but
with
I wanna know who's gonna pay for the damages.
If Verizon damages anything during the course of
And it's gonna be your
construction, they'll pay for
contractors,
it.
and you're gonna say, oh no, it's the subcontractors, we're not responsible. But yet you're paying them.
Sir,
So, and if I may, it sounds like the challenge that you're experiencing is beyond just what this one individual company is doing. It's with the overall tower operation itself, with the multiple providers.
Oh yeah,
that are
they
connected to
show up
it.
in their white truck with no markers, no decal, and they treat my place like crap.
So I actually think that's probably something that is a better suited issue for working through with the underlying use permit for this site, what originally authorized the tower at that site location. Because what is the request in front today is adding some antennas just to the existing tower itself. Those primary, fundamental issues with access to the tower site location are typically addressed underneath that underlying use permit, the original use permit for the site. And I don't know if we know when that use permit comes up for renewal as well. I think it was last renewed in 2019, it looks like, from the staff report.
So it was in 2019, and let's see here.
and sir, would you mind giving me your name again?
Kevin Blundell.
I do show it was renewed in 2019. I don't have that on hand as to when it's up for renewal again.
My guess is typically because they're 10-year
10 years.
renewals, so it'd probably be in 2029.
I feel like that I did see a 2029 when I was doing this.
Do you have an email address? Sir?
Mark
I
said
can
yes,
send you more
2029.
information.
Yeah, oh, okay, so we got confirmation from staff that it's 2029 is the expiration. So I think that, certainly,
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Larry.
so I think certainly for addressing your concerns, you do have for the new construction that'll happen as part of the project that we're considering today, you have, confirmation from the agent here, and looks like exchanging contact information to make sure that any concerns are promptly addressed. But I think the larger concerns that it sounds like you have with the overall site operation are things that we should be addressing under the underlying use permit. So I would suggest following up with our office, so that way we can look at the underlying use permit, give you information about when that comes up for renewal and discussion, and you have an opportunity to express those concerns, as well as part of the consideration of renewing the underlying permit for the overall tower operation.
Okay,
It's like 7 years from now.
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
It'll come back around in 2029 for renewal, the underlying cell
Right.
tower.
but I just went up to the ranch, what we call the ranch now, and somebody had just cut the chain and driven on through and left the gate wide open. If I catch somebody, I'm just gonna be held to pay, I'll be honest with you.
Well, and I think it could be an opportunity as well if you want to share that with our staff too, and I certainly think Marco could probably assist with that too. Would be that we can look at whether or not there's any sort of conflict with the adopted conditions of approval with how they may be handling access to the site, and things where the county may be able to provide correspondence to the operator about adhering to those previously adopted conditions of approval.
Okay.
So we can do that follow-up. Was there anyone else who wanted to speak on this item? Seeing none, then I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. Were there any final remarks from staff?
None from staff.
Okay, great. And anything further from the applicant?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay. So I want to thank staff for the staff report and the supplemental memorandum with the revised resolution, making some red line changes to those conditions of approval. And I will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions as contained within the revised resolution posted for today's meeting. But I do encourage you to please follow up with us because it sounds like there's some issues up there that should be addressed
Okay.
with the underlying permit.
Who do I talk to?
You can just talk with, I don't know if Marco, do you have more items on today's agenda?
I do not know.
Would you mind just, if you want to be able to follow up with him on the
Yeah.
underlying use permit?
I can get you my business card as well.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Kevin Blundell, Blundell.
Okay, and then after this, we can connect outside.
Okay.
I'll get your information.
Okay, so moving to our next item on the agenda, 3B, case AP 2025-0028. And our staff planner for this item is Jamie Henry. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Jamie Henry, staff planner. The project is an administrative permit request to modify an existing wireless communication facility located at 45151 North Highway 1, approximately 5.9 miles northeast of the Westport Town Center on the east side of State Route 1. The parcel itself consists approximately of 726 acres, and with the actual project site located within a 10,000 square foot leased area. All work is confined to the existing leased area with no expansion of the facility footprint being proposed. The site is designated forest land with a 160 acre minimum under the general plan and is zoned timberland production zoning. The wireless facility occupies a small previously developed area within a large timber production parcel. The proposed modifications are consistent with both the general plan designation and the TPZ zoning, as the project maintains an existing compatible public utility use and does not interfere with the ongoing timber operations. The project was referred out to applicable agencies on November 20th, 2025, and no significant issues were identified. The project also qualifies for a categorical exemption from CEQA as noted in my staff report. The staff would also like to note that a memo was provided today regarding revisions to the conditions of approval. Specifically, Condition 7 was revised and the original Conditions 9 and 10 were removed. As a result, the remaining conditions were renumbered in accordance with the memo and the attached redlined resolution provided for today's hearing.
Thank you. I reviewed that memo as well, so thank you. And so next we'll look to the applicant. Any comments for this item?
No comments.
Okay, thank you. And sorry, just state your name for the record.
My name is Matthew Moore. I'm
Thank
the
you.
authorized agent of Verizon
Thank
Wireless
you.
Project.
So now I will open the public hearing. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item in the room, or any individuals online can use the raise hand feature? I'm seeing nobody making moves, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. Thank you, Jamie, for your staff report and memo. And I've reviewed the staff report, the findings, and the conditions of approval, and will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions contained in the revised resolution posted for today's meeting. Thank you. And our next case, agenda item 3C, case AP 2025-0029, and our staff planner is Shelby Miller. Can I have your presentation?
Thank you, Zoning Administrator. Project Planner Shelby Miller here. The project is located approximately 0.8 miles southeast of the Manchester Town Center, lying on the east side of State Route 1, a half mile north of the intersection of Mountain View Road and State Route 1, located at 20,001 South Highway 1, Manchester. Assessor's parcel number is 133-11027. Staff has prepared a memorandum dated December 16th, 2025 to revise the project scope, which now requests an administrative permit to authorize an eligible facilities request for modifications to an existing wireless communication facility that includes installing 3 temporary antennas, ground equipment of a temporary 30 kilowatt diesel generator and battery on a trailer within the existing wireless compound, followed by removal of temporary equipment and installing of permanent equipment, which includes 16 panel antennas, a 30 kilowatt diesel generator with a 147 gallon fuel tank, 2 equipment cabinets, conduit for fiber from existing box to the tower. The project is located within the Rangeland Zoning District and Land Use Classification The existing cell tower was permitted under a use permit modification, which was project number is UM_2014-0008. The project was referred to all applicable agencies. CAL FIRE Mendocino unit submitted comments after staff prepared the staff report and associated documents, and recommended that a defensible space area of about 300 feet or to the property line, whichever distance is shorter, be constructed and or maintained around the communications site as allowed under Public Resources Code 42913B. Additionally, staff included the revisions of condition of approval number 7, which omitted the second sentence, which stated, should at any time a legal determination be made that the number, size, or shape of parcels within the permit described boundaries are different, that which is legally required by this permit shall become null and void. And condition of approval number 13 was also revised, and now it states prior to the issuance of building permit number BP_2025-0634 to install permanent equipment as outlined in the staff report. The landowner shall obtain a use permit renewal for the use of the existing wireless tower facility previously approved as UM_2014-008. Staff omitted the word applicant or
Yep.
together. So the project is categorically exempt from CEQA under section 15301, which is existing facilities. Staff recommends approval of the project subject to the conditions of approval, and thank you. I'm available for questions.
Thank you. And representative of the application, any comments on this item?
Just one note for the defensible space issue. We've been in contact with Fire all week long. And an issue that we run into there is that we can only clear as much as we have lease rights to. And so the chief did add another letter basically saying, clear what you can. We'd like the 300, but clear what you can. And so we'll work with them on all of these to figure out what that is exactly.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, and so now we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing and see if we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item. And see no hands raised in the room and no hands raised online. I
have a question.
Sorry, sure.
I was here for
Please
another-
just state your name.
I'm Larry Tunzi, I live in Comanche. I was going to speak on another issue, but my primary thing is clearance around. Why can't you clear more than what's going on there?
Verizon only has rights to work within their lease area. So authorization for something like that would have to come from the underlying landlord. And we're working with the tower owner, US Cellular, not directly with the landlord. So we're just limited essentially by the scope of what US Cellular's range is.
This is just a big issue with me because landlines obviously are not going to last forever, it seems like. And these cell towers are very important. And to have such minimal clearance around them, it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have good clearance around so that during a windstorm or a major fire, we actually have communications and not. And another issue coming up, we'll show some pictures, but it's mind-boggling why this is not required. We're required to have it for all the structures, clearance around everything, but one of the most important things is cell towers, and there's no real requirement to do that. So that's my comment.
Sure. And if you can give me your contact information, I can let you know as we move through what the defensible space.
Yeah,
We're going to.
we're going to talk about it here later on.
Okay.
On
Then we'll get it.
I forget which one it is here on 3E. So anyway.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none. Okay, I'll bring it back to the zoning administrator. Any final comments from staff?
I do have one final comment. They are up for a use permit or a renewal soon, so that also could be fully addressed in that.
Yeah, because the use permit renewal, I think like I mentioned earlier, that addresses the underlying tower in that lease area. When you get these administrative permits that are typically adding equipment onto the existing tower. They're working within what's already established from the lease of that original tower. So it's typically more limited in scope as
We might
to
be-
what their authority
We might
would
be in the wrong meeting.
Why
Well, just
wasn't
those
there-
opportunities will come up in the future too, because adjacent landowners receive notice of those use permit renewals as well.
Why wasn't these conditions met earlier? Because it's been a requirement, the 4291 issues with clearances and all that. That's been state law for many years.
Yeah, and it may have been, and we'd have to look back at the underlying use permits to see, but it may have been that it was implemented at the initial construction. But then, our office, we only have really authority of ensuring that that's completed at that time of initial construction. And then there can be, and I don't want to speak for CAL FIRE, but my understanding is they try to do defensible space inspections every year. And I think primarily they focus on residential and commercial developments. I'm not sure if they also extend that to cell tower developments as well. But typically that would be through an annual inspection that's done by CAL FIRE.
That can be put on as a condition of a use permit. I've permitted rock quarry, and I have a lot of conditions on my quarry. And one of your, Dirk, one of your inspectors comes out every year, and it's got to be inspected, and all the conditions have to be met.
Yeah.
Why can't the county follow up these conditions on clearance?
I think that's a great comment for when we get to the renewal of the underlying use permit, because again, this application is limited in scope as to what it's requesting on that original tower.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, any other comments?
Oh, that's all, thank you.
Great, thank you. So bringing it back to the zoning administrator, and thank you to staff for your staff report and the memorandum. And I will approve the project subject to the findings within the resolution and the conditions as modified by the memo dated December 16th, 2025.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next item is item 3D, AP 2025-0030, and our staff planner is Liam Crowley.
Good afternoon, this is Liam with Planning and Building. So very similar to the other items today, this project would involve the temporary installation of 3 antennas, a generator trailer, a battery trailer, and other necessary ground equipment within an existing wireless communication facility, which is on Signal Ridge Road in the Philo area. The proposal meets the qualifications for an eligible facilities request under the Federal Communication Commission, also known as the FCC's regulations, which compel the county to approve the proposal. And the proposal is not considered a substantial change under the FCC's regulations because it would not increase the height of the tower, would not protrude more than 20 feet from the body of the existing tower, involves the installation of 1 temporary equipment cabinet, and does not involve any new trenching or excavation. And the proposal has been determined to be categorically exempt from CEQA under the existing facilities and minor alterations to land exemptions. And as noted previously in the other items, we did receive a letter from McKinsey & Albritton LLP on behalf of Verizon Wireless on December 12th, which had requested that several conditions of approval. For this particular item, it's conditions of approval numbers 3, 9, 12, and 13 be either revised or deleted due to an asserted conflict with the FCC regulations regarding eligible facilities requests. And the letter states that a local government may only impose conditions of approval that are related to generally applicable building and safety codes and other laws codifying objective standards reasonably related to health and safety. The letter cites Title 47 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 1.6100, a 2014 report and order by the FCC, and a 2020 declaratory ruling by the FCC as well. After reviewing those cited regulations, staff is accepting the requests outlined in the letter and recommends that the zoning administrator adopt the revised red line resolution that was included in the memorandum that incorporates the requested changes. And as I mentioned before, the changes would include the deletion of conditions of approval numbers 3, 12, and 13, the revision of condition number 9, and the renumbering of the conditions accordingly. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the project based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval within the staff report as amended by the revised resolution.
Thank you. And any comments from the agent?
Matthew Moore, no comments.
Okay, great, thank you. Opening up the public hearing, do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none in the room and none online, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. Thank you, Liam, for your staff report and the memo with the revised resolution, and I will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions in the revised resolution posted for today's meeting. Okay. And our next item, we have agenda item 3E, which is AP 2025-0031. And our staff planner is Jesse Waldman, who's joining us online. And may I have your presentation, Jesse? Thank you.
Thank you. Zoning Administrator Krog, Jesse Waldman, staff planning for Mendocino County Planning and Building Services today. This request administrative permit AP 2025-0031 is a request to authorize an eligible facilities request for modifications to an existing wireless communication facility that includes installing 3 temporary antennas, a temporary 30 kilowatt diesel generator on a trailer, and a temporary battery trailer. There's a reference to a building permit number 2025-0581. It's been applied for. That temporary work would be installed and then followed by the removal of the temporary equipment and then the installation of permanent equipment, including antenna, remote radio units, surge protectors, cabling, 2 equipment cabinets, and a 30 kilowatt diesel generator with a 147-gallon fuel tank. Also applied for that building permit under BP 2025-0605. The project site is located approximately 5.6 miles west of the Compshie Town Center, lying on the south side of Compshie-Ukiah Road, County Road 223. And it is approximately 1/2 mile east of its intersection with Little River Airport Road, County Road 404, and it is located at 38351 Compshie-Ukiah Road. Town address is Compshie, and the assessor's parcel number is 125-01026. The total acreage of the leased area is approximately 10,000 square feet on a approximately 198 acre parcel. The parcel and the leased area is under the classification of the general plan as forest land, and the zoning is timberland. And the application, along with supplemental exhibits, has been reviewed with consideration of conditions of approval for previously approved use permit, and that is use permit 6-2004, governing the site, which was then followed up as with an administrative permit 2017 number 19 as a replacement. And the proposed project is consistent with the conditions of approval of that said use permit and the administrative permit, which was modified to add additional conditions at that time to supersede the use permit to allow this wireless communications facility to continue its operation. Under the Federal Middle Class Tax Relief and Job Creation Act, the project is consistent, and this is under Section 6409. It prevents the local government from denying eligible facility requests that do not substantially change the physical dimensions of existing towers. This project does not do that. Therefore, the project is consistent with that section code. Staff has determined this project is categorically exempt under further review under California Environmental Quality Act. specific to the Title 14, Division 6, Chapter 3, Article 19, Class 1, which is also Section 15301 under existing facilities. Staff would like to point out a couple of important points here. During the public noticing period of this project being to be presented to you today, staff did receive 2 additional comments from the CAL FIRE, California Department of Forestry and Fire. And those recommendations were specific about any tree removal on timberland or forest land. So no tree removal is proposed within this project. However, one of the specific comments is that they do maintain a 300-foot clearance around the entire wireless facility, and that they they maintain that clearance under the Public Resources Code 4291.3b. And staff was not able to prepare a memo for all of the changes that are proposed in front of you today. There was a last minute change to the draft resolution. Within the information that was at the last minute, staff is going to recommend that the CAL FIRE recommendation 13 be added. And I will go over that in just a minute about the clearance for being able to maintain fire clearance for the communication sites, especially during emergencies. Furthermore, a comment was submitted by the applicant and their agent, and this comment was posted online, and it was specific to the state requirements. So bear with me just a moment here. These comments have been posted online, and following the review, staff recommends that the removal and or revision of some of the conditions that are within the staff report be modified, deleted, or included, as they do not directly pertain to applicable building and safety codes or other laws establishing health and safety standards. Furthermore, removal of the following conditions, number 3, 5, 6, 15, and 16 are recommended by staff. The condition of approval, number 8, please bear with me. Number 11 within the staff report would become number 8, would be partially modified, and to read that for the record, it would say we would be modifying the condition 11 within the staff report to become condition 8, and it would state this: this permit is issued without a legal determination having been made upon the number, size, or shape of parcels encompassed within the permit described boundaries, period. So there was a removal and modification to that condition. The remaining conditions, which we'll read, I will read those in just a moment. They alter all the numbers. So this is going to be fun. I'm going to do my best for my, for the record without a memorandum prepared. Condition 3 will become, condition 4 will become condition 3. Condition 7 will become condition 4. Condition 8 becomes condition 5. Condition 9 becomes condition 6. 10 becomes 7. 11 becomes 8. 12 becomes 9. And then the inclusion of the CAL FIRE requirement for safety clearance would be condition 13, and staff has prepared a draft condition, which I would like to read for the following. CAL FIRE Mendocino unit is requiring that a defensible space area of 300 feet or to the property line, whichever distance is shorter, be constructed and or maintained around the communication site as allowed under Public Resources Code 4291.3b. The defensible space is being required because communication sites are essential for public safety, especially during times of emergency. This concludes my presentation today. Staff does recommend approval with the modifications that have been stated today during this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. And looking to the agent for any comments.
Sure. Are you planning on adding that condition as worded there, or?
My suggestion was going to be saying or other acceptable means as determined by CAL FIRE based upon the prior discussion that was about them understanding that you may not have the authority to clear that full distance.
Okay.
So leaving that at CAL FIRE's discretion of what they find acceptable to be that defensible space clearance.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
That's it.
Okay. Opening up the public hearing. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? And please state your name for the record.
What she spoke about is exactly what we're here for. I applaud CAL FIRE. I thought we might be in the wrong room because of the use permit or something, but we are the neighbors to that tower, and the tower is 150 feet from our property line. And I brought pictures today just to show you how bad it's got dead and dying trees inside in the tower. The road going up there is an absolute mess.
Couldn't get a fire truck.
Yeah, you couldn't, and right over the propane tank, it is a mess around there. It's been neglected and neglected. So I am very happy to see CAL FIRE want the 300 feet. I was going to ask for less, but I would certainly be happy at 300 feet because we got our insurance taken away from us last year. We were lucky to get some back. Insurance companies look very bad upon that place over there towards me, because we're their house and that kind of a hazard there. So I will go to, I will do what I can to go to CAL FIRE and say, good boys, go for it on that end of it. I'm hoping that they stick with this 300 footer to the property line because my property is clean after that.
And I'm sorry, I can't remember. Did you state your name for
I
the
did
record?
not.
Okay,
You know
that?
So my name is Steve Slaver.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, and thank you for your comments. And I think as you heard from the discussion, what my intention is that condition just be added, stating that or other acceptable means as determined by CAL FIRE, because I think as we heard in earlier comments from the agent, there might be some negotiation that needs to happen in terms of the amount of area that they have authority to go and clear on
I
the
really
site.
believe they should go back and with CAL FIRE, we're in a state park. In states, I think they've been doing some everybody's pretty conscious of the fire situation now.
Absolutely.
And I think they would work with them and to see this happen. I think this is a great time to put it to the use because, we don't want to be doing, this is the time in my opinion. And it's been really neglected. This tower's probably been there 35 to 40 years. And 30 anyway. And it's never been, cleaned around or done nothing. And it really needs a good cleaning around it. And I would think your company would be happy. For a couple reasons. One is you're going to get better cell service out of there. and two, your equipment's going to not burn down.
It's a matter of if we step outside of our lease rights, we're trespassing. So it's
I
not
get
something
that.
I can agree to or, Verizon.
But now maybe they need to go back and look at a condition. They might have to go back and look at, maybe they need to get more land.
It's not
Lease.
Verizon's.
But maybe
because
Verizon has to
own-
ask them to do that.
They
That's what I'm
don't own
saying.
the tower or the.
I understand that, but you could go back to them and say, we're having a little problem here. We need a little more space to clean this up. Bingo.
Sure.
There's ways around. Saying no is too easy.
I'm not saying no, I'm saying we'll work with what we have and do what we can. So that's what we can do right now.
Were there any other commenters who wish to provide comment?
Yeah, I'll add to it. I'm Larry Tunzi in CompSci, and maybe Jesse, is it a recommendation or a requirement with CAL FIRE for clearance?
If I may, Jesse Waldman, planning staff. It is stating verbatim from CAL FIRE Mendocino unit that they are requiring a defensible space and that it be 300 feet or to the property line. And I've added, so verbatim is what CAL FIRE is stating, one of those two options, and that this defensible space be required. So it is stating it is being required. I have listened to the discussion and I do have a draft language of the inclusion from CAL FIRE, as well as the consideration that the zoning administrator is proposing other acceptable means by CAL FIRE, which means that the applicant can work with CAL FIRE and get their approval for acceptable means if it's up to the property line, so that the applicant's not breaking their lease. Sorry to go on a little bit long there, but I wanted to make sure that there's moving parts to the building permit. And I can say prior to issuance of a building permit that the applicant provide evidence of this CAL FIRE requirement being done.
If I may, so typically we would require it to be prior to the final inspection. That's typically how our CAL FIRE clearances work, is it's done at the time of final inspection. So that would be, I think, Jesse, in terms of a timing component, that would be the appropriate timing component.
Would it be wise for us to go to CAL FIRE and talk to them about it too, or not? I mean, just, you know, express our concern to them too.
I mean, I think you certainly always can, but I think with this inclusion of the language that's recommended by staff, that it will require that the applicant or agent work directly with CAL FIRE to determine how they're going to satisfy CAL FIRE's comments. And like I said, it may not be that it's that full 300 feet. It may be less than that, but they'll work through that with the applicant and CAL FIRE and come to an agreement of what is acceptable to CAL FIRE for that defensible space clearance.
I know it doesn't sound like it didn't hurt to go and hurt to talk to CAL FIRE then.
So my question is, you know, it's, where's the follow-up or enforcement 5 years from now? Those pictures are a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. There's zero clearance around anything. You got a propane tank is right there with branches all hanging all over it. I mean, that should not happen. It should have never happened, and yet it is. And so why isn't there not some enforcement or follow-up from the county or somebody to every few years go and check it out? And that ought to be for all the cell towers, not just this one. You know, because it's critical infrastructure for all of us in the county. We saw the fires back in 2018 or whatever it was, and knocked the heck out of everything. And we get storms on the coast and everything, and it's just like we're not putting, I don't think, enough effort into to the resiliency of these towers. And so that's my main thing.
Yeah, and I can just let you know there's I think a broader discussion happening throughout the county right now too about defensible space and defensible space annual inspections. I know I've personally sat in on several meetings with CAL FIRE talking through it and looking at how, you know, we're one of the few jurisdictions where CAL FIRE still performs these preliminary clearance inspections, and that authority hasn't been delegated to the local government as of yet. We're one of 3 jurisdictions that is that way in the state. So there's been discussions on that point as well, and really looking at, you know, who's got the resources and the ability to perform those the preliminary clearances as well as annual inspections that happen throughout the county.
Well, and before any other use permits are approved in the future, I mean, you're the
when is this use permit actually supposed to? Is it?
Oh, it's in the staff report. I think it was July 2027.
Okay, so it is
So it's
coming
just
through.
right around the corner,
Yeah.
really.
If
It's
we
about
have a
year
problem
away.
here, we can go there. But
Yeah.
anyway, well, so they can go ahead. I'm trying to think. You know, so it has to be cleared before they can do any construction there. It's got to be cleared through CAL FIRE at this point.
It would be cleared prior to getting the final inspection.
So they could go ahead and do all the work, but if
Well,
they couldn't use it if they didn't get.
Correct.
That doesn't make sense, does it? Sort of putting something ahead of something.
Typically, many folks will get that all sorted out before, but just the county's mechanism is that we ensure that has been completed to CAL FIRE's satisfaction at the time of final inspection. Yeah.
And we will know.
It's the final catch.
Will we
to
know?
make sure.
Will we as property owners know what that will be before before this all or whenever this gets hashed out? Or?
You may want to just make contact here with the agent.
Okay.
And be able to be informed of that, and then also we would have it as part of any final of a building permit. Okay, and so I'm gonna, unless there's any other comments, then I'm gonna go ahead and close the public hearing, and I want to look back to staff because I think staff had revised condition language that she could read into the record.
Thank you. Staff has prepared some draft verbiage for the recommended inclusion of condition of approval number 13. Prior to final inspection of any building permit associated with this administrative permit, the applicant shall provide evidence of CAL FIRE Mendocino unit to Mendocino County Planning and Building Services that dispensable space is maintained and acceptable by CAL FIRE pursuant to Public Resources Code 4291.3b. The defensible space is required because communication sites are essential for public safety, specifically during times of emergency.
Okay, great, thank you. I think that captures the commentary and ensures that that defensible space is going to be looked at as part of the building permits going forward. So, okay, so with that, bringing it back to the zoning administrator, I will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions as modified both during today's meeting and in the red line resolution that was posted to the agenda item. So that includes the addition of condition 13 regarding the CAL FIRE requirements.
Yeah, and you said, not to interrupt you, this in 27, what?
July, was it July?
July
Okay.
2027 is the expiration date of the underlying use permit for the
Okay,
site.
so if something doesn't get handled to our
Yeah.
likings at this point, then we can come back.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And thank you for participating
Thank you.
today.
Right.
It's always nice to have
Before we
people
hear
in
from you.
person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Jesse. Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate all your time.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
good
you.
deal. See ya.
Everybody runs away.
Okay, I will. Okay, and our last item on the agenda today is AP 2025-0032, and our planner is Rob Fitzsimmons.
Thank you. This is an administrative permit to install additional antennas and ground equipment at an existing wireless tower site. Initial temporary development includes the addition of 3 antennas on the tower, resulting in no change in height, and the installation of a diesel generator, battery trailer, fuel tank, and equipment platform. Permanent development proposed includes the addition of 12 new antennas, bringing the tower height to 100 feet, and a new diesel generator and fuel tank. Once the permanent components have been completed, the temporary installations will be removed. The project site is 5 3/4 miles east of Manchester Town Center and 1 mile east of the intersection of Mountain View Road and Miller Court, located at 36900 Mountain View Road, Manchester, APN 133-22006. And before I go forward, I want to confirm that the administrator has had the chance to review the memo that was posted today.
Yes, and the 2 different red line
Yes,
resolutions.
I will be touching
yes.
on that.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, there are 2 components, temporary and permanent. Based on these submitted materials, some portions of the temporary component may not actually qualify as an eligible facilities request, and the project is not fully consistent with the underlying use permit. That said, staff do nonetheless still recommend conditional approval with the conditions included in the red line resolution submitted, posted earlier today. Staff want to note that approval of this permit does not constitute a renewal of the underlying use permit for the facility, U 2015-0016. That permit expires next month on January 21st of 2026. And then staff also did want to highlight that there were 2 red line resolutions posted. The first included the modifications as discussed in the memo, but didn't include the renumbering to factor that in. So the second one just adds the formatting.
Thank you.
And staff also did want to mention that CAL FIRE did reach out regarding this after the staff report was posted, and they had similar comments to those that were previously discussed. Staff's understanding was that the conditions as proposed captured that to the extent that the local jurisdiction can. If the zoning administrator would like to see some language similar to that which was discussed with the last item, and the staff would request a brief recess to craft that. All that said, staff recommends that the zoning administrator find the project categorically exempt from CEQA for the analysis in the staff report, and approve the project subject to the conditions in the revised resolution.
Thank you very much. And any comments from the agent?
Matthew Moore, no comments.
No comments. Okay, great. Now I will open the public hearing and see if we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item. And I'll note for the record, we have no other members of the public in the room. And I'm seeing no hands raised, so I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. And to the question from staff, I think we were very specific on that last one because of the identified concerns associated with the site. But I do believe that condition 19 in the revised resolution captures this in terms of the necessary permits and requirements of any other county, state, and federal agencies having jurisdiction. So I don't believe we need to add any specific additional condition to the permit. But thank you for the offer. So, and with that, I have reviewed the staff report and the memorandums and red line resolution posted for this item. And I will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions as contained within the red line resolution posted for today's item. Okay, and that concludes our regular calendar. Agenda item number 4, do we have any matters from staff?
Nothing.
Thank you. Agenda item number 5, matters from the public. The zoning administrator welcomes participation in meetings. This item is limited to matters under the jurisdiction of the zoning administrator that are not on the posted agenda and items that have not already been considered by the zoning administrator. No action will be taken. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak under this item? And you can indicate so by using the raise hand feature. Seeing no hands raised, then I will adjourn the meeting at 2:24 p.m.